As the conflict between Iran, Israel, and the U.S. continues, here to discuss how Iranians' lives are being impacted on the ground is former consultant of the Women's Rights Division at the Human Rights Watch and current director of the Center for Human Rights in Iran, Roya Boroumand. Thank you so much for joining us. We've reported so much on the missiles being exchanged on both sides, but we've had very little reporting on what's actually been happening to the Iranian people. What are you hearing from your folks, the organizations that you're in touch with on the ground?
Well, Iranians are concerned, very concerned for their safety. There are collateral damages. Of course, in the early days, I think they were mostly observing. But now that after the attacks increased, they were more concerned than leaving the city, those who could afford to leave the cities or had homes or relatives outside. But at the same time, there were hopes. I think, the strategy of Israel of hitting the police stations and Basij force and special forces gave them the impression, and the statements gave them the impression that maybe this is the demise of the end of the clerical rule. So now that there is a ceasefire, they tell me that many of them, I can't speak for everyone, obviously, that they are terrified. And they are terrified, I think, for a good reason, because they worry that if a wounded and humiliated Islamic Republic survives, it will turn its wrath against them. And already in the 12 days of the campaign, 15 people have been executed, 3 for spying for Israel. To date, in 2025, over 600 people have been executed. So I think they are justified in their fear. I hope that all these deaths and destruction, because there are over 1,000 deaths and a lot of civilians, that it gives them, a pause. But the perception also is that Prime Minister Netanyahu and others have encouraged Iranian to rise and topple the government. The problem is that this is not so easily done. The Iranians have risen time and again from 1979. There were protests and protests.
One thing I'm trying to understand, do you think that there is a large percentage of Iranians who would like to see a regime change?
Well, as far as I understand, yes. I mean, if there was, they cannot do it themselves. They have tried protests, they have tried guerrilla warfare, they have tried war, and they have always faced death, prison, torture, and their families have paid. So it's not as simple. Iran is weak now. That there is, it has lost its regional leverage, and it is a good moment. This is a rare opportunity to push and to include Iran's politics in the negotiations and push Iran for a peaceful transfer of power. I think this is possible, but it requires the will of the international community and a wide consultation among Iranians. But I think this is possible.
And lastly, as you know, the international community, by and large, is just saying, "Hey, Iran, we will leave you alone if you'll just agree to not make these nuclear weapons." Do you get the sense that, by and large, Iranians don't have the need, or they don't see the necessity for the nuclear weapons?
Oh, of course not. You never see them discuss this on social media. I mean, ordinary people, this is not their problem. Even, the Iranian Nobel laureate, Narges Mohammadi, said, this is not our project. And the Iranians are well aware. I mean, some may, but most of the Iranians I know of, or we read or we hear about, they don't think this is the most urgent things they need. They need jobs. They need freedom. They need respect. And this is the government project. And they understand that it is the ambitions of the leadership that has put them now in the way of harm. I think everyone understands that, and that's why their anger is mostly turned against the leadership more than Israelis.
Roya, we thank you so much for your time and perspective. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.